This seance was recorded on the 26th of August 1987, medium Leslie Flint.
What a song.
You tell us a song, Mickey.
Yeah, I do know that song. Ain't it
Branded
blooming
blooming
world
red.
red.
Look at the earth world, blooming world wriggling. Yeah,
That's a cheerful one.
absolutely. Good, we need that, Mickey.
Yes, we
Because
can.
it's true.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
sure. You sound a bit
Can you
sorrowful.
hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can,
we
Mickey.
can.
I'm too
Beautiful.
faint today.
Beautiful.
Well, where's Mama?
You sound pathetic.
Have you put on the thing?
Yeah, I switched it on.
He's picked up
How are
on
you getting on, Margaret?
Pardon?
How are you getting on, all right?
Oh, well, all right, I suppose.
What do you mean, you suppose?
Oh, well. Not much I can see else.
Do what? Oh, never mind.
Mickey, I can hardly hear you.
He said, shut up, yawning.
Yeah, it's always yawning.
It's,
I suppose it's like old people, they all get
Not so much of the old people.
we always see how old you're getting.
Are you?
A faint little voice.
Well, he's picked up the mood.
Do what?
I said, picked up the mood.
All right, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
That's more like it.
When's your new shop coming off, Auntie?
Pardon?
You heard?
Yeah, well, I don't know. You tell me.
Well, there's something in the wind, ain't there?
Oh, not that I know of, dear.
Oh, yes, there is. You'll get straightened out, you see.
Mm.
Can you hear what I say?
Yes. Well, we can. I don't know whether Margaret can. Can you, Margaret?
Margaret, she ain't deaf, is she?
I bet. Yes.
You're not deaf, are you?
Well, I'm a little bit dull of hearing because I'm not really deaf. I am a bit deaf.
That little lady, is she your friend?
Yes, uh-huh.
Nice little thing, ain't she?
Mm.
Hello.
Hello?
You're in a mess, you are.
Really?
Can
What
you-
kind of mess?
I don't know whether you realise it, but there's something going on around you. You're trying to get straightened out then. What's she say?
No. Speak up, Lucy.
No, I'm not trying to straighten anything out. Things are all right.
That's what you think.
Well,
Well, he's definitely picked up
as
Leslie's
far
mood.
as I know.
Hold on. There's a crowd of people here today called
Really?
Starbuck Rose.
That's lovely.
How are you, Dan?
I'm fine, Mickey, thanks. Nice
How's
to talk.
your missus? Is she getting better now?
Well, she hasn't had the last operation, but she's going next month.
Because they told me that they want to get that foot right.
Yes,
But she's putting too much stress on one leg.
yes.
And they were trying desperately to help her. But she's going to have another op.
Yes.
They probably didn't get it percent right.
No, they didn't. When it went back, it was done right, and it's gone wrong again. It's most unusual, but she's going to have it done right next month.
I don't know. Wait a moment. No. Yeah, I know all about that. That's to do with him, isn't it? Yeah, all right, wait a minute.
Who are you talking to?
Not you. Well, see, it's been a funny morning, hasn't it? He's been arguing the toss again, has he?
No, shut up, Mickey. You get on with the job.
Hello, Paulie.
Hello, Mickey.
How are you, love?
I'm fine.
You sorted out one day, perhaps with a bit of luck, won't we?
Oh, that'd be a miracle.
Yeah, well, miracles can happen, you know.
Can they?
What I are miracles anyway. Anyway, I'll get sorted out in a minute. I don't know what to... What did you say? No, she doesn't understand it. She don't really. No, not yet. She said she'll get straight, but she doesn't know. No, she doesn't know. That lad's with her.
What lad are you talking about?
What's happening, Mickey?
He's talking to somebody else half the time, I think.
You said he needed to get sorted out.
Give it back to Lucy.
Said someone that there was a lad with her. Hello? Hello?
Annie?
Hello?
Come along, friend.
Come along.
Who do you want? Annie.
Hello, Annie.
Did you say
No
Annie?
Annie here, I don't think.
I'm not sure.
Do you know an Annie?
Was it Annie? Annie.
I don't know, he sounds like a man.
Yes, it does.
I think he's asking for Annie.
Hello?
Mickey gets sorted out. Mickey. Mickey.
He'll be back.
She's just trying to sort things out, Leslie.
Mickey. Mickey.
Still there.
She's just told you to shut up. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, is that you, David?
I think it's Bob.
I thought it was. Oh, is that Bob? Fine, love, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Only just. You'll have to speak up a bit. Lovely to hear from you. Hello, my love, I can't hear you.
I'm here with David.
You're with David, that's lovely.
We're both here.
Good.
There's a crowd of people here today.
Yeah, so Mickey said.
But that was a bit confusing. Trying to straighten their things out.
Yes,
Trying to get a clear channel.
yes.
Talk about getting a clear channel.
Well,
It's very difficult to explain this, but a whole crowd of people here today, some of them obviously have never been to anything before in their lives.
Uh-huh.
Finding it a little bit complicated, but nevertheless we'll keep on trying. Can you hear me?
Yes, only just, but it's improving.
How's the trip?
How's the
True.
trip? Well, I didn't go on a trip, but Dad did.
I'm talking about Dad.
Dad had a lovely trip.
Good, in spite of. He enjoyed it, didn't he?
He did, very much.
He had one bad day, didn't he?
Do you know where he went?
I hope he enjoyed it, but I think it was a good idea. And I think that it was worth the effort.
Yeah, it was a bit of an effort in the end, I think.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean, getting back. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Getting back.
getting back. Well, I think it was all right. He got back yesterday.
Yeah, I know that, but he's glad in a way to get back.
Oh,
He enjoyed it to a point, didn't he?
well, yes, he likes his home, though.
But that's the point. Tell him I was with him. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, my love. Yes, I will.
I don't know if you can hear what I'm saying. But
Yeah, I'm having
I'm
to...
finding it a little bit complicated. Sometimes it's worse than others.
Yeah.
But tell Dad that I was with him.
Well, that's
It
lovely.
didn't last all that long, but he enjoyed it.
Yes, he did.
He could have done one or two other things, but it didn't work out.
Well,
Can you hear me?
I think he had a pretty full programme.
Oh, I know that, but one or two other things that had been intended didn't happen. But tell him that we, well, not only me, but several of us, grandma, both here.
Oh, lovely.
Just a minute, I've got a surprise for you.
Oh,
If I possibly can manage to.
oh,
Hold on.
lovely. Oh, I love surprises.
Yes, that was a trip abroad.
Abroad? I can't hear, my love. Who is it?
Someone's talking about abroad.
Yeah. Who is it? Hello, dear.
Come on, Mickey, help.
Help, help. What's my surprise?
There was a lady asking about the trip abroad. Did you want to go abroad?
Well, barely.
Mm. Hello?
No, it wasn't Scotland, no.
No, I'm not talking to you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
I'm talking about myself, talking about the oldies. Hello in Scotland.
Uh-huh.
Hello, Margaret.
Yes, hello, yes.
I'm here with Mother. Can you not hear me?
Uh-huh.
We're all here together. Anna's here.
Uh-huh. Could you speak up a bit? I'm not so good at hearing. Huh?
We're doing all that we can to help, you know that. Trying to get you sorted out if we can.
Uh-huh.
It takes time, but you've had your disappointments, but things are getting all right, in the right direction now.
Uh-huh.
I think you'll be all right before very long now. What's this place that we hear about?
Yes, but I didn't catch that last bit.
Something about what is this place we hear about? I thought.
Well, there's no place I know of at the moment. What we saying?
He said, right.
Uh-huh. Was that my father?
Says he must be. He said he's here with your mother.
I'm here with Mother. Now we're both here.
Oh, yes.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh, very faint, yes.
I got a surprise.
Uh-huh.
Just a minute now.
Oh, yes. Hope yours comes off, Margaret. Pepper? Hope
He
your
said he had a
surprise
surprise
comes
for
off.
waiting.
Huh? Is that Mother?
I don't know if you can hear.
Yes.
I'm trying to
I can hear you.
as loud as I can, but I'm not quite sure if you can hear what I say.
I can hear you very
I
well.
just wanted you to
Very
know
well indeed.
that we're all here.
Uh-huh.
You know that we do as best we can.
Uh-huh.
And we're trying to get you here sorted out.
Uh-huh.
But it takes time, and you've had a disappointment, but it'll open up again. I'm quite sure of that. But I think you get this place that you've been looking at way back. Are you sure they've not decided to not let you have it?
Well, the place I think I know is gone, you know, that I was trying to get. I don't really know what you're talking about. There's another possibility that I've been trying to think about, but I don't know if it's really on the market or not. I really don't know. But I hope I get something soon.
It'll come around the way that you want to. Not perhaps quite exactly so, but I know you're going to be alright. But you know it's not so far where you are now. And I think it's got great possibility. But you have seen the place, and I'm sure that you're going to get it. But it takes a wee bit of time. But there's someone there now at the moment, but they're not going to stay. And you'll be able to take it over if you want to.
Well, I'll find out.
I see.
Yes, I can hear you very well. I don't quite know what you're talking about, but then you can, well, perhaps find out in the future.
Harry.
But we'll have to hurry up, I think. Thank you very much for coming.
I've not gone yet.
Oh, good. Good, thanks very much. Is there anything else you want to tell me? Tom? Who's Tom?
Just a moment.
Who's Tom?
Your mother is here with your father. And there's several other people with her. And, do you know who it's not like it now, but a very stout man, rather heavy built, stout. He's with your mum and your father, and he was getting on a bit when he came over, and he was quite a jovial sort of bloke, and he's very closely linked to your parents. By the way, do you know who this Thomas is?
No, I don't. And the only Tom I could think of definitely isn't Stout. He didn't.
No, I didn't say it was him, but there's someone keeps pushing in with your people, and they called him Tom. And he was quite a character, evidently. And to do with your mother's business, did she have it to do?
Oh, well, that was long before she was married. I know nothing about it.
Oh, that's how.
And I don't know. I mean, that was long before.
And Florrie. And Florence, yes. But perhaps you wouldn't know then if they go back too far.
No, that's right. Tell me, Mickey, there's somebody that keeps coming to me from different sources called Peter. Can you tell me who Peter is?
Who?
Peter. Every time I go anywhere I get this name of Peter. And then I was told recently it was somebody on the airplane. I really don't know. I'm trying to find out. Does anybody know about a Peter?
Oh, I don't know, but I could probably find out.
Because I got him from you months ago, and this Peter keeps coming from all different sources, and I would be interested to know who he is. Anyway, it's very nice to hear my mother. I think that's the first time Mother's has spoken to me, isn't it?
The point is this, I have to get down to brass tacks. Do you know anything about initials JB?
Oh, that's my... JB is my mother's initials. Oh, well, it's my great-grandmother's initials.
Well, it's very odd. I have to stick my neck up.
Please do.
Somebody is talking about the past and giving me the initials, and they're also talking about some engraving with those initials on a piece of jewellery.
Could be. Don't know about it.
You don't know about the jewellery, you mean?
No, but is there anything else about this JB?
Oh.
That means something to me in the present time.
Yes, because it's fascinating, really, because they're telling me bits and pieces, and I wish they'd do it themselves, because I'm inclined sometimes to get it mucked up. But there's something very important about those initials, and it has a lot to do with you. And, oh dear.
As you just tell me, and I'll probably know what it's about.
Do what?
You just tell me what they're saying and I'll know what it's about. About this JB, what is that?
JB, I thought it was JB. JB, you say? Oh, I was
Hello?
JB,
JB?
JB.
Yes, what is it about JB?
I've been trying to help on this side, as long as it's in our power.
Can't hear what's being
They're
said.
trying to help from that side as
Yeah.
far as in their power. It's in
Uh-huh.
their power.
In regards to JB, can you hear me?
Yes, well, not. You can help me, Larry, come on. What was said about JB?
Can you repeat that, please, sir? Didn't quite hear it. Can you try again, please?
Everything's quite quiet this afternoon.
Hmm.
It's really complicated.
What is
As a
complicated,
matter
sir?
of fact, the link isn't very good. Nevertheless, I want to
Uh-huh.
endeavouring to do as best we can, but the link, unfortunately, is very blurred.
Uh-huh.
Are you interested in JB?
Yes, I am very.
Yes, has there been some problem?
Well, there's just something roundabout where the initials JB refer, and therefore I'm quite interested in what is being said about JB.
Well, all I know is that there's someone here, in fact there are two people here,
Your
who are
pardon?
very interested in the situation
Uh-huh.
in regard to JB,
Uh-huh.
and they're endeavouring to assist in some way. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if this person's in need.
Is the person in need?
Oh, no, it's not. Well, it's not really a pet. Well, JB is my great-grandmother's initials, but I'm thinking of using the initials for something, you
I
know.
don't understand what the means to say. Some reference has been made to some more piece of jewellery with JB.
Oh, there may be, but
And,
that's,
but
I
there is
don't, I wouldn't
also
know.
some connection here of someone that they're referring to who's in need of some help at the moment.
Uh-huh.
And they're trying to do as best they can.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if this person on Earth happens to have the same initials, but there's some link there.
Uh-huh.
JB is endeavouring to assist on both. It's a very peculiar message.
Good, good, uh-huh.
Does
Uh-huh.
this make sense to you?
Yes, it does, uh-huh.
Well, as a matter of fact, I only know that apart from your parents and apart from others here, and this JB and the initials, which in a sense have some very great significance, but there is someone else in your world, presumably from I gather, the same initials,
Yes, uh-huh.
and they're trying to help this person, trying to get things sorted out.
Uh-huh, okay.
And
Mhm.
this will take a little time because, quite frankly, from what I'm being told to tell you, that someone else has a very strong bearing or influence on the situation, and everything possible is being done.
Uh-huh.
Do you understand?
Yes, it's a thing, not a person here. It's very complicated for you to
But I
understand.
don't understand.
But I do understand,
All
I think, what
know
you're saying.
is that I'm told to tell you there's more in this message than perhaps meets the eye.
Uh-huh.
But there's a great deal happening, great deal is being done,
Uh-huh.
and also it's to do with JB.
Yes.
And the JB on this side, apart from others, connect with your family, and you're very concerned about this JB, are you?
Yes, that's true.
Well, all I know is that healing and influence is being brought to bear to assist in regard to the situation with the JB. Do you follow this?
Yes, yes, I'm following what you're saying.
Are you very fond of animals?
Yes,
I don't know why they're making reference to animals.
well, I've always been fond of animals.
You know, I don't know if I should stick, as I believe the common parlance is now, in your world, stick my neck out.
Well, please do.
It's not a phrase or language that was common in my day, anyway. It was, I didn't know it. But I'm told to tell you that what has arisen of late and the uncertainty is obviously something which by its very nature is causing some distress or concern, but it's all going to be put straight. Take a little time, and you're going to be much happier. But why do they keep on about JB?
Well, I understand exactly. If you just tell me, I know what it is. It's too complicated to sit here and tell you.
It's certainly complicated from my point of view, because I'm in between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yes, it's quite all right. I'm understanding what you're saying.
All I know is they tell me to tell you that the situation which has arisen and the circumstances is going to take a little time, but it will be perfectly okay in due course of time. Don't get despondent. There's a great interest in this JB business, and the extraordinary thing is that though the link seems tenuous, it's a very strong link from this side, in a sense, to you and the JB. And although you have no knowledge, of course, from the point of view of the piece of jewelry, but there also happens by, well, some mischance, I don't quite know what or how, but there was or is still a piece of jewelry with the initials JB that belonged to someone very much close to your family.
Well, I don't have it for sure.
No, you don't have it, but you do have something else.
No.
Oh, yes, you do. I don't mean to do with your grandmother, but to do with your mother.
Oh yes, I have the odd bit
which also wants repair, or if you don't have a repair, you could have a mischance with it and perhaps lose it.
I keep looking after this brooch. They told me before.
It's a brooch, is it not?
Yes, yes,
Yes, well, your mother says you had this brooch which you've treasured, and she says, of course, it's loose. She seems very sure that it ought to be seen to in case you lose
I've had it seen too often.
Well, I'm glad of that, but she still... Don't ask me why your mother should be that concerned about a brooch. One wonders why, in a sense, that when we're over here, we could possibly be concerned or bothered about things like brooches. We're not, in a sense, except in, I suppose, the sentimental aspect of the whole situation. But the main part of this message for you is not about brooches or rings. It's really about JB. And you're not to bother or worry unduly. Things are going to be all right, but they take their course. But somebody's got to also, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm being told to say, someone has got to be strong and not to be weak. Do you understand? Because it's very important that if this is to be sorted out and a happier state of being brought into being, I think there is a weakness too. Strength is necessary. I don't know how to put this out in the fact I'm told to tell you not to worry too much, it'll work out given time. But it's all to do whoever JB is, you know.
Yes, I know about the JB situation, thank you. Thanks very much, that was a very good message.
Quite frankly, I mean, it's all Dutch to me. I mean, you know, there's another extraordinary thing people don't understand or realise. They assume, I suppose, quite naturally, because we're over here, that invariably we know all the ins and the outs and all the things that happen or don't happen to people. Of course, if it's a relationship and a very close one, where such as, shall we say, husband and wife or mother and son, of course the person on this side is often around and about and is very aware and conscious of certain things that happen, or anxious sometimes to give advice if they feel they can. But to anyone like myself, who in a sense is in between the communicating entity and you on your side, we're sort of a go-between. I'm not particularly in myself particularly happy about it being an intermediary, because I feel I don't necessarily always do as well as one should or one would like. You know, people come to these sittings and all the rest of it, and quite rightly, I'm not condemning, why should I? They come in the hope that they'll make a link or a contact with someone near and dear to them, and sometimes they do. Sometimes the conditions aren't conducive, and then of course someone like myself, and I don't make a habit of doing this, I leave that to the boy or someone else. They're probably more experienced than me. But I was asked to step in on this JB business, and I don't know whether it makes sense, I hope it does, but anyway, that's your main message, and the concern is all about this JB business. Anyway, as a matter of fact, those two nice young fellows that are always here whenever I come here, your respective sons, I know how much it means to you both to have a little contact, a little link, a little conversation if possible. I realize only too well what it means, not only to you both, but to your boys. They're very much around you, of course, and that's to be expected. And they both seem to have got themselves very much caught up with doing certain work. I suppose you could call it rescue work, although that's a loose term. In a sense, they do much more than what it seems by referring to it as rescue. There are lots of souls that come over here who are not prepared, not ready. Sometimes perhaps they've been killed in an accident or something terrible has happened. They're catapulted, you might say, almost over here. They're not sure indeed of themselves or what the situation is. Sometimes they think they're in a kind of a dream and they're going to wake up, you know, and that it's a kind of a nightmare perhaps in some instances. They don't even realize in some cases that they're actually dead. This doesn't happen very often. In fact, I suppose a person who has a natural death, that is, perhaps after an illness, they gradually ease themselves, if that's the word, or expression, out of the physical into the mental and spiritual aspect of life here. It's a different transition, and people are all around them waiting to receive them because the message has been given that the loved one is about to depart the material world. But when a sudden accident happens, which is not preordained or anything of the sort, you know, we often hear people say, well, why did that happen? Why should that be allowed to happen? And they can't adjust themselves to the fact that sometimes in a terrible catastrophe or an accident, that in fact they rail against God if they have any belief whatsoever, and even those who don't, who never accept God at all, say, why does God permit this? God's got nothing for him to do with it. A man brings upon himself in many instances some of the tragedies that befall him, and you do get sometimes these young people particularly who are rather foolhardy, and perhaps they're driving around on a motorbike or something of the sort, and they come to a sticky end, as you say, and it's a great shock. They didn't realize in some cases, but in the vast majority of cases, people dying a normal, natural passing eventually after a long illness. No one wants long illness, but there is an easing, as it were, a gradual process of change taking place, and it's not such a shock for them when they come over here. Their loved ones are all there waiting to receive them, but we don't necessarily always know when an accident is going to happen. There are times when we are able to sense and feel that such a thing is going to happen with a person or persons, but more often than not, we are not aware. Like recently you've had a huge catastrophe in some town where all those innocent people were suddenly killed out of the blue. that was not premeditated. If somebody suddenly has a terrible sort of brainstorm, as this young man obviously did, he obviously was taken out of himself completely and lost all control. It's a sad, tragic business. I don't want to go into that, but the point is that some of those souls who just walking down the street suddenly find themselves catapulted, if that's the expression, into the realm of the spirit. They don't even realize. In fact, they just go on walking in some instances. They don't even know that they're dead as such. And there, of course, there are cases too of individuals who hang around the earth vibration and condition, trying to make a contact, trying to get through into the physical aspect of life again. And that's where your two lads, bless them, they do a wonderful job. It's easy perhaps for me to tell you this. Well, it is easier for them to tell you this, and I know that your main interest, and quite naturally and rightly so, is a personal link with the lads in question. But I don't know if they would ever themselves, well, probably they would tell you. In fact, they've hinted or given them some idea of what they're doing in regard to their spiritual work and their achievement and attainment. But they are, as it were, working very close to the earth. They may not talk too much about it, but they have done a wonderful job. And of course there are many such. You know, there are rescue circles. There are sometimes crowds of souls on this side who deliberately come back to the material world in which they feel they have some work to do. And I wouldn't say that by giving a lot of themselves to doing the material aspect of things, that is helping and comforting and uplifting people when they leave the physical world, that they are neglecting their own advancement. Indeed, it's not until you, in a sense, which is perfectly true, that you forget yourself in loving service, that you really begin to find your true self and begin to make eternal spiritual progression in consequence. You know, a lot of people perhaps don't understand some of the things we try to say. I think sometimes people are very confused, and of course you must remember that there are many, many aspects of this truth. There will be all manner of kind of people who will come back from our world, which in a sense really is not one world. It's a condition of life peculiar to each individual and condition which is best suited to them, but it is an aspect of many worlds. You know, you'll get people come sometimes who'll give you a different interpretation, a different aspect concerning themselves and how they live and what they do, etc. And of course sometimes you may say, well, can't you tell us more about where you're living and what it is like and what you're doing? Do you wear clothes or etc., etc.? And you'll find that you'll get different stories because of the individual who happens to be perhaps on a certain plane or a certain condition of life best suited themselves. Their interpretation may be quite different to somebody else's, and this can be very confusing. And of course you must always remember that whatever it is we want to bring down to you, to some extent it has to be brought to a level that you can understand it. I mean, if we could depict in words, if we could, some aspects of our life over here, you wouldn't really comprehend it. There is no language, no way in which you can really depict some aspects of life over here. It is so far removed, so different, so changed to anything you could envisage. But you know, I'm fascinated in a sense today, although it wasn't my intention. Indeed, I had no intention whatsoever in coming through to talk to anyone today. That was the last thing that I'd intended to do, because I do realize only too well that in most instances, and quite rightly, when you come along here, you are, of course, hoping, quite rightly so, of a personal message from someone known dear to you, loved by you, still loved, hoping that if they can, they will make a contact with you. And this invariably happens, but there are difficulties sometimes. And I was asked if I'd come and speak I wasn't too happy in the first instance, particularly when they asked me to get this JB business sorted out. I thought, well, that's not my cup of tea, as you might say. But since it seemed to be something very definite that was wanted, I said, okay, I'll do that if I can. But I do feel that you dear people who are so deeply immersed in the things of the Spirit won't have any real objection to someone, if possible, like myself, come and talk to you for a brief time. But you know, if you could see as I see, which of course you cannot, but there are not just 2 or 3 standing around here, not just those whom you've known and still love and hope to contact. They're not the only ones. There are literally hundreds of souls. You know, if I could explain this to you, you're like a light in the darkness of material things. It's like a candle in a darkened room. All around you, you have depression. You have all the atmosphere of uncertainty. You have all the upheaval of life around and about you. There is hatred, malice, and intolerance, which is the driving force, almost you might say, in your world at the moment. You have all the pollution of the atmosphere and all the pollution of the land. You have so much tragedy to contend with in different ways, in different forms, that at times it must seem, indeed it is, of course, very depressing. And all this materialism, that's what it is, makes it much more complex and much more difficult to link and contact. That's why I say, when you come together with your hearts set on the things of the Spirit and your aspirations towards the things that truly are of God, then you will open, as it were, an avenue, a path by which we can tread and come down and link temporarily with you. And it is like a light in the darkness. All around your world there is this atmosphere of depression, this heaviness, this sort of trying desperately as we do to break the barriers that separate us. But when you are like you are, in love and in harmony, coming together, hoping that the link of the Spirit may be strengthened, it makes it a wonderful, joyous thing for us to be able to come just briefly for a few seconds. We love you very much. We're very conscious of your needs. We're very conscious of the things that you hold near and dear to you, the loves that you hold for those who are around and about you, those from whom you are temporarily separated, and yet in a sense you are not. In your minds, in your hearts, in your spirit, there is that strength and that love that you hold fast to. They're here, they're around you. They may not always be able to commune with you. They can't always speak to you. They can't always show, as it were, the things of the Spirit that is strong within them. But yet in a way I know you feel and sense their presence. And if sometimes when you come here, a brief word is given, a brief message is spoken, a little comfort, a little upliftment, a little cheering on the path of material things that you have still to tread, the path of the Spirit, it all comes close and near and dear to you. We have no regrets. We want you to be as happy as circumstance will allow. Know that death has not robbed you of those whom you love. Death has opened the gate it has opened the gate of truth. I do want you to know that my weekends. I do want you to know what it means for us to be with you. Love and peace be unto you, my friends.
You get me worked up.
Oh, that's Norman Burke, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
I
my
know,
God.
but I mean, I like to be bright and cheerful.
Very nice.
You got her laughing. Here, what was all that business with you?
I know what it was, and Mickey
It seemed a bit
well, for the
wrapped
rest of the sitting, if I tried to explain it to you,
It was a bit wrapped up, wasn't it?
yes, it
It's
was.
like a sucker that's wrapped up in paper, isn't it?
That,
And you know,
right.
unwrap it, you taste it, and it can be nice and
Well,
well,
when,
depends, doesn't it?
when I get my tape, I'll play it back and forward and get it all together, you know. But I know what it was they were talking about. I know what they were talking about. It's
Yeah, but
very
who's
complicated.
JB then? Oh, I shouldn't ask, should I?
Well, It's my great grandmother's name.
Yeah, I'm not
But
talking
it's
about her,
associated
but
with
you should
something
talk about
else.
someone
Okay,
on
fine.
her. Anyway, it's not my business, is it? That little woman next to you, she doesn't want to make a me, does she?
Lucy, well,
She's very psychic.
are you psychic?
She
No.
probably don't know it, but she is.
Well, if I am, I don't know it.
I tell you, I don't know what to make of you, to be quite honest. I like you, you're alright.
Thank you.
But at the same time, you don't know what I'm talking about. When I say there's going to be a big upheaval with you, mate,
No, I don't know.
perhaps you don't want an upheaval.
Well, I don't want an upheaval, but I'd like to know what it is. If you can see what it's like.
Well, I don't know, it's somebody else's influence that affects you. Are you happy as you are?
Yes.
I don't know what it's all about then. You hit it off with the people, do you?
Yes.
Oh, thank God for that.
So I have to put it
Do
on
what?
myself. Pardon?
Never mind, forget it. Do you have steps to go up?
Well, steps in the house.
Oh, no, it's very
Stairs in
funny.
the house. Of course.
Don't know, I'll get you going up some steps or stairs and you turn left. Don't understand it. You got a house then?
Yes.
Are there 3 on you?
No.
Why are they on about 3 on
Well,
you?
yes, 2 cats and I.
Well, that's funny, they're laughing. They say, of course there's 3. But she has to go up these steps and she... What did you say? Have you had any trouble with your roof?
Yes.
Eh?
Yes.
Speak up, Lucy.
Yes, everybody's
They
traveling.
said you had to get something done, or had to be done about your roof.
Yes.
But that's done now, is it?
No.
What'd she say?
No. Not done.
Well, I don't understand this, because that's what probably the message was about then. They say that this business of sorting things out, getting things straightened out, and they keep on about this roof. And it has to, but I suppose you'll get it done before winter sets in, will you?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Don't know if I get anybody to do it. Anyway, it's not a big job.
What's she say?
It's not a big
It's not a
job.
big job.
She doesn't know if she can get someone to do it.
Well, they say you should get this sorted out. And, oh dear. Somebody connected with you died under very tragic circumstances. Their death wasn't natural.
Don't know anybody.
Do what? What's she say?
Well, that was 40 years ago. 50
That
years
doesn't
ago.
Doesn't matter, Lucy, speak up.
They had to have an inquest because of the circumstances of the person's passing.
No.
Yes. There's a lady here, and she was found dead on the floor, and they had to force an entrance. And what did you say?
No, I don't know anything about a case like that.
You don't? Well, that's
No.
helpful. Okay.
No, never heard of anything like it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Do you know who Polly is?
No.
Hey,
No.
there's a lady they call Mary called Polly.
No.
They're talking about her passing. When she was found and they had to have an inquest because of perhaps it's not for you then.
Well, I used to know
No,
Polly.
I could take the circumstances, but not the name Polly. I could take the set of circumstances, Mickey, but they're not the name Polly.
Well, I don't know. I'm so muddled. There's a lady
Did
here.
you, Polly, pass in those conditions, Larry?
Do what?
I don't know what condition she's passed over, but didn't know a Mary who was called Polly.
I had an aunt
Oh, well,
Polly.
that's for you then.
I had an aunt Polly whose name was Mary.
Oh, well, I don't see how many Polly. All right. No, I know a
I
lady
thought
who...
Polly was a parrot.
Polly was a parrot.
You've got a young man here today, Mickey. You know. Didn't know.
No, forget it. I don't know. I was confused now. Oh dear, oh dear.
Poor Mickey.
I'm all right. I'm on the right side.
You tell me or
But sometimes you get confused.
who
You get
doesn't?
all these people sending out their thoughts, and you're trying to pick things up and try to get a closer link,
I
and then
know.
it gets confused and one thing and another.
I know.
Oh well, sitting on tight. That bloke has got an earring on. You.
Me, Mickey?
Yeah, you
Hello,
got an
Mickey.
earring, ain't you?
Yes, I have.
Oh, that looked like something out of Treasure Island.
That's where the Polly came in.
Well, they used to wear earrings, pirates, didn't they?
Yes. Why, Prince Renaissance.
You're not an actor, are you?
No, Mickey.
I don't get you on the stage, and yet you have a lot to do with it.
Yes, Mickey, that's right.
Yeah, do you sell the tickets?
No,
Well, you have something to do with it.
I used to. Well, not sell the tickets, but I used to take the tickets.
Well, you're in
I work
Pincham.
backstage now.
Do what?
I work backstage now, Mickey.
Oh, are you at the back of the lot, are you?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I don't know what it is about you. You interest me. You're a bit of a... Well, never mind. You're a decent bloke and all that, obviously, but I feel
Thank
as
you.
if you're not too happy about things, and I don't know, it's as if you've got so far no further and you're stuck.
Thank you, yes, Mickey, you're quite right.
And you could have done something better with your life. It's not altogether your fault, circumstances.
Thank you.
Are you fond of chandeliers?
I suppose so, yes.
Well, I don't know why it is. As I'm talking to you, someone showed me one of them things with all the lights on and the glass stuff, you know.
Yes.
I don't know what that's all about. You've got something in your pocket too. Hold on. What did you say? Don't know how to put it. Oh dear. Someone's telling me to tell you that this flat, I don't know what they're on about it, is coming up. What are they on about this flat for? Are you hoping to get or looking for or connected with a flat?
I am, yes.
But it's funny. Someone says that when you least expect it, out of the blue, the opportunity will come, and it's to do with you and moving or going
Thank
into
you.
some flat.
Thank you.
And it's as if somebody that you least expect, they tell me, gives you the opportunity. And also, I'm not going to stick my neck out with you, I hope that you won't do anything you could regret. Because they say it's all very well to listen to what people say, and often people mean well, but they say you're better sorting things out personally, in as much that they don't want you to get involved. I don't know how to put this. It's as if they think you're a bit of a lone wolf, and that in some respects that's all right as far as it goes, but they just want you to bide your time, and there's not much you can do anyway. But they say they are guiding you, and it will all work out. But it seems as if they think that you mustn't get involved. I don't know what they mean. Do you know what they're on about? I don't.
I think so, Mickey, yes. I think it makes sense at the moment, yes. To
Yeah,
wait
look now.
till circumstances
Look,
are
take
better.
my advice for what it's worth and what they're telling me. You can't do much else but do it different than what you're doing at the moment.
That's right.
But it does seem to me that the opportunity that arises, it could mean that you could branch out on your own, or at the same time you could spoil your opportunity, your chances by becoming involved. They want you to play lone wolf until you get straight and sort it out.
Right.
This is all on the
Thank you.
material level, I can't help it. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Mickey. Thank you.
There's a
Sense.
lady that comes very much around you, and she was what I call a stout little party. I don't really say she's a great big buxom woman, but she got a plump little figure, and she's a lovely lady, and she hasn't been over here all that long. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know, it's just very funny though. Are you sharing then?
Yes, Mickey.
Yeah, but I don't wish to stick my neck out because that would be naughty.
Go.
But they don't seem to think that, I don't know how I can put it. I hope you're not unhappy, I don't suppose you are, but it's as if it suits its purpose for the time being, do you know what I mean?
Yes, Mickey. Yes.
They don't want you to get caught out or involved. By all means, things are all right in a sense, but it's as if you have to strike out on your own in some way, especially in regard to some alteration or change to do with a flat.
Yes, Mickey.
You don't know
It does
anyone,
make sense, Mickey.
you don't know anyone called Dodo, do you?
Dodo.
I hope I got it right.
I'm trying to think.
No,
Mickey,
that's
it
not a
doesn't-
person, it's an animale. Yeah, hold on.
A dead Eddie Marley.
Do what?
A dead Eddie Marley.
It does have a faint memory.
No, this is to do with the doggy woggy. And there's someone talking here to me, and they say that they've got Dodo, and that they're looking after Dodo.
Well, I used to have a dog called Dodo, Mickey. That's the first time I ever heard it mentioned.
I thought it sounded familiar.
Yes, it sounded familiar to
I
me.
know you're going to do it. That's fun.
Well, one of that. Well, I never get nothing.
Join the club.
Was it Leslie's dog, Mickey?
Yeah, I had a dog called Dodo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's changed. Yes, it's got 3 notes in there, and it's got that other piece. Yeah, have you got a wallet with 3 notes in?
Yes, Mickey.
Yeah, but not necessarily just money.
Yes. That's right. There's
Do
two
what?
notes. There are 2 notes. One £10 note, one £5 note, and a chequebook.
Well, I don't know, they're laughing up their sleeve at you in a way, and they're talking about your wallet, and they're talking about notes, and what did you say? Oh dear. They seem very interested in what you carry around with you, mate.
Oh dear.
Did you have an accident?
A long time ago.
Yeah, well, when you
yes.
was about 19 or so.
Yes.
Someone here, a doctor, telling me something about that, although it was a long time ago and there's nothing to worry about, but you did have some kind of an accident,
That's right.
and they've been, oh dear, and all good stuff across. You don't, what did you say? Oh dear, Sid.
Yes. This
Who's
side.
this Sid?
I know Sid on this side.
Well, there's someone here saying they're very concerned about what Sid's been up to. Do you know what he's been up to?
No, I don't. Well, yes, I do vaguely, but I don't
Well,
know
they
if it's
say
anything
that
bad.
they're trying to help Sid, but he doesn't realise it, but he's a fool to himself. And they say that if you see Sid, and you'll probably be hearing, because he might open up and talk to you,
Well, he
but they
phoned
say
me
that he
today.
wants to be they wanted to be very careful.
Right, thank you.
Do you see much on him?
No, he phoned me this morning. He's coming for lunch tomorrow.
Well, they say you've got something up in... Oh, starve the crows. They seem to think that you should try, if you can, to be in touch with this Sid, because he doesn't fully realise it yet. But there's something in the wind, and he ought to be more careful, because I think, I don't know if I should say this, but I think that if he's not careful, he's going to land up in trouble.
Right, thank you.
Didn't he say nothing to you when he phoned you then?
Not this time, no. Not.
Well, he's a man who
Yes.
quite unconsciously probably puts his bloody foot in it.
Yes.
And I think he's in some sort of escapade or something, and they say he ought to be more careful. He, without realising it, sometimes he's his own enemy, and maybe you can help him if necessary.
Thank you.
Here, and also somebody connect here. Would you know anything about the twins?
Twins.
Yeah, two kids.
Yes.
Born at the same time, more or
Yes.
less, within a few minutes, I suppose. Depends. But the point is that what are twins? One's over here, died in infancy, and one's on your side.
Yes.
Hold on. Yeah. And have you broken away from your home?
From
I don't wish...
moved away from the area I was born in. Yes.
Well, yes, it's funny because they say that you've had to, over the years, adapt yourself to new conditions and surroundings because it's not where you was originally,
That's
and
correct.
you've adjusted yourself very well. But you know, you're a bit of an introvert, if I may use the terminology you should call it. But although you can be an extrovert to a point, you do live within yourself a lot, don't you?
I do indeed. Yes.
And you've got a vivid imagination. And what is a pity about you, with all due respect, I think you've got talents that you've never really developed or opened up to. Maybe circumstances have been against you from what they tell me, but you have got an artistic, creative talent, and it's a pity you couldn't have done more about it.
Thank you.
You're a bit of a case, you are, aren't you?
Thank you, Vicky.
How's your teeth, mate?
They've been playing up. One of them. In
Well,
particular,
someone's
but
saying
has
that
been-
you ought to get something seen to because
Yes.
otherwise you'd have a bad time with
I
one
keep
or
having
two
a-
of your teeth. There's nothing radically wrong, but they said a stitch in time saves nine.
Yeah, I keep having an argument with the dentist. He
Well,
keeps
why
filling it,
don't-
and I want it out.
Do what?
He keeps filling it, and I want the thing
Yeah,
taken
well,
out.
they say that you've got to the point of no return
Yes, I
always.
thought so.
And they think that you should have it seen to because otherwise it could be very inconvenient and you'd have a lot of pain and suffer a bit.
Already have.
They want you to get sorted out.
Thank
Oh,
you.
God, stop it, Christ. Honestly, I feel like a fortune teller gone mad. Not me at all. It's one of them days, ain't it?
Yes.
I wish people would push it. You know, my job really, I don't know, I get rammed off sometimes.
Why?
Oh, Les gives me the willies.
That's it, that's it.
Well, you know what mediums are like. You know, really, if you work with a medium, you've got to have infinite patience.
Yes, I assume you would.
No, I mean, mediums are all right as far as they go and all that. We're grateful, like, you know, but, oh, that whatever it is.
Capricious.
Capricious.
You got it! Dennis the Menace. You're a bit of a case, you are, Dad, aren't you?
I think so.
Oh, I keep getting that chandelier business.
I know what he's on now.
So do I.
We know what he
We
means.
know what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, but I can see it as clear as clear. And I can see this great big thing like swinging like I don't know what.
Thank you.
As if it's going to come down any minute.
Any second now. Yes.
Of course, you have a show you go to, don't you? Something like that. The Hunchback or something.
Nearly the Hunchback, not quite.
The Hunchback.
No, the Phantom.
The what?
The Phantom.
Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be.
Well done, Lucky, well done.
But I ain't no phantom of no operas. I could go and do a better job than that man. That's all right.
Oh, I'm sure you couldn't.
Do what?
I'm sure you couldn't. He's terrific, terrific.
That man's sat here with you, Nicky. You've spoken
I
to
could
that
swing on a chandelier, no one would know.
Yeah, nobody would, you're right.
Yeah, wouldn't be much help, would it? Oh, this one get the baby a new frock, hold on.
Mickey's in the mood.
He's not.
Cheer up, Paula!
That's it, that's it.
Don't go off.
I'm thinking.
Is that what you're doing? I'd never have known.
Wouldn't you?
Just feel-
She's a medium. She's a done more psychic than half the people she knows.
I know.
Ain't you, Paula?
I don't know.
No, you won't admit it. You're fairy, you are.
You're what?
Fee.
Faye.
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 It's the Scottish word for it.
Mm.
I think your little friend's a bit disappointed with me, Auntie.
Well, have you got anything else for her?
Can't force nothing.
No, no, that's true.
Oh, well, she won't get the paper in her frock with it. That's for you.
Who?
Poor Leslie again, getting up.
Nicky, you know that somebody very close to Norman Birkin passed away last week. A long time ago he was connected with this man. Does that make sense? It must be the tape, yes.
Mickey, there was somebody passed a few weeks ago. I was wondering if they were around at all.
Is that somebody we all know, Margaret?
Yes. Yes.
You mean with Margaret Wilson?
Yes.
Oh, she's been here all the afternoon.
Ah.
She got anything to say to
Give her,
us?
give her a
Give
love.
our love.
Oh, she's obviously...
She fitting well, is she, Mickey?
Oh, she's all right, bless her heart.
Yeah.
And she's fully awake and aware.
Mhm.
And she's very grateful for everything that was done. But I think she's a funny lady anyway. The condition. No, I can't help you. No, well, I can't help it. No, it's that woman's husband. I know. I know. Yes. So I know all about that. And then there's that bit of the car crash.
Mickey, you know I'm going to the States tomorrow. Is there anyone there for my family? Any message for my family from anyone there?
Mickey. Mickey.
Hello?
Hello? Who?
Come on, old friend.
Is that you, David?
Who?
Arthur, I thought you said. I may be wrong, but
Arthur?
it sounded like Arthur to me. But
He said hello, Mum.
Don't know.
oh, well, I don't know. That's I'm wrong.
Hello, can you speak up? Come along now.
Arthur who? What's your other name? If it was Arthur.
Do you know somebody here, Arthur?
I think we all know an awful lot
Well,
about
yeah,
the
I
last
think we
one.
do.
I don't.
I do.
I always can't never remember anything. The names.
I think we said hello, Mum.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Who? Who?
What about Mimi? Is it Mimi you're asking for?
Give my regards to Mimi.
Okay, who's that? Who's that speaking?
Who is it?
Can you give us your name, please?
Can you speak up a wee bit? Uh-huh.
Who's that? Do you know someone called Mimi?
Yes, we know Mimi. But I'm just wondering who it was.
Her husband.
Yeah, well, we can assume it's her husband, but he didn't say it was his husband. Did he?
Yes.
It's on
Okay,
tape.
fine. It was his grandchild's birthday yesterday. Well, they had a birthday party in Scotland. I didn't hear it.
Listen, tell
Yes, I'll give you love to Mimi.
Look after yourself and the boy, not to worry.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I don't see how you can manage it. No.
What is this? What is
My
this?
name is Edith.
Hello, Edith.
Hello.
Hello, Edith.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
My name is Edith Craig.
Hello, Edith.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
uh-huh.
yes.
Yes, we can.
Welcome.
You're very welcome.
This first experience I've ever had at this sort of thing. I've come here with Nell, Ellen.
Yes. Yes.
I'm Edith
Hello,
Craig.
Edith.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good. It's very interesting. I would not have realized this, of course, in my day. It's also extraordinary. I'm Edith Craig.
Hello, Edith.
I'm here with Ellen.
Yes.
She brought me along.
That's
See?
lovely.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Good.
Tell us something about yourself, Edith.
Are you related to Norman?
There she came.
Yes, Norman Craig was Ellen's son.
The Craigs were Terry's relatives.
Oh.
Which Ellen's she on about?
Ellen
And
Terry.
Terry.
Who's Norman?
Well, Norman Craig was her son, Ellen's son.
Ellen's son.
Of course.
Of course, yes.
We're all here now. But it's all very strange. I would not have believed it was possible. But can you hear?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
I've heard. Oh, I don't know.
Try again.
That's just a matter of opinion.
What is, sir?
I don't know. It's Gordon speaking.
Gordon?
Norman.
I'm Gordon.
Gordon.
I'm Gordon Craig.
Hello.
I'm here with
Gordon,
Edith and Nell.
Yes.
We're all here.
Hello.
Hello.
How
It's
you-
nice to hear you. Is there anything we can do for you?
Much better position than you are, thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
the thought, of course, thank you. But we are on the side where, quite frankly, I suppose in a way, we can all do with some help from time to time, but I doubt very much if anyone on your side can help us. Unless, of course, it's some poor soul that is completely and absolutely caught up with material thought and condition, can't sort of get himself away from it. There are such souls, unfortunately,
Yes.
who are earthbound, not necessarily evil, of course, but, well, unfortunately very materialistically inclined and cling on to the old material. And I don't understand too much myself about this communicating business. But
Doing very
Edith
well.
and Nell and others here have always been very deeply involved. Can you hear?
Yes, we can, sir.
Because I separated myself more or less from everybody. I went and retired. Did a great deal of work, retired. I never really retired. I wouldn't have read such a word, but I lived in Mallorca for a number of years. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's very
It's
interesting.
a strange business. Well, I don't know. Terribly interesting, of course, all this business communication. Ellen's been at it for years.
Yes.
I never got round to taking much interest in it. Anyway, it's very fascinating, nevertheless. I don't think I can manage perhaps just as well I don't. I don't understand enough about it. Anyway, nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
to speak to us.
How's it going?
Thank you, Mickey.
I don't know how he pushed in.
Nice to hear from
He
you.
was Ellen's son.
I wonder what she thinks
There's
about
a
that
crowd
television
of
thing.
people. It's been one of them funny sort of days.
Done very well.
Oh, very
Yeah,
well.
but it's all right for people who are more experienced. But I always feel that sometimes, well, the people that one would most like don't get a look in, or for some reason don't able to. Anyway, I can only do my best.
We know you're
Anyway,
there.
my love and God bless you.
God bless you.
Julie. And don't do anything I wouldn't do, as they say, you know. But then I'm on the right side, and I so I don't have the same temptations. Anyway, bye-bye.
Mickey.